Randy Willoughby's life changed dramatically in 2012 when he suffered a brain injury after a car wreck.
Their lives were changed in a split second.
Before the accident in my life, I was like a teenager, and I was a skateboarder, and I was skating and stuff. And then I met my girlfriend, which was like my wife now. So we met on Facebook, actually, and then the accident happened.
Randy and his girlfriend were on their way to dinner. They came to a four-way stop, and they proceeded through the intersection when an elderly gentleman just missed a stop sign. He was driving a pickup truck, and unfortunately he T-boned the car, the Mustang that Randy was riding in, right on the passenger side, right where Randy was sitting. And Randy was wearing a seatbelt, but because of the angle of the collision, the seatbelt really didn't do much for Randy.
When I first met Randy Willoughby, he looked a lot different than he looks today. He was actually in a coma at Tampa General Hospital with his parents, his mother, his father, and his girlfriend Kaylee, all essentially praying around the clock that he was going to come out of this coma and they were going to get their Randy back.
And as a result, he's had some atrophy to his brain where it actually has shrunk and parts of the brain that were injured died and wasted away. So it's a severe injury, but in spite of that, he has been able to recover. His doctors did not anticipate that he was going to be out talking, walking, being a father, doing the things that he's able to do today is really just a miraculous recovery.
With the brain injury that I received from the car accident and being in a coma for a month, it changed me in a lot. Like, I had to learn how to walk again, how to talk, how to swallow. I was 240 pounds. I lost 100 pounds. My wife was the biggest part in that. She really helped me. Like, there were times where, like, my wife would push me to do some things. Like, I couldn't tie my shoes, and she wasn't being mean. Like, I don't know if you want to call it cruel love or something, or hard love, but she would just walk away and say, okay, tie your shoes yourself. And eventually, I started doing all that myself.
It's a testament not only to Randy's strength, but also to Kaylee's strength, his girlfriend, to be able to, I mean, they'd only been dating about a year at the time of the wreck, and to be able to stay with him, particularly during those 2 years where Randy required 24-hour 7 care, and not only to help Randy recover and to be able to learn how to, bathe himself and feed himself again, but to help Randy thrive and to make the most out of his life is a testament to the strength of their relationship and the love that they share for one another.
The people that do come to us to help them are people we're there. They don't have 3 lawyers where if we don't work out, then maybe one of the other 2 will. We are their only hope in the world, and the things that they need require resources and money that only the legal system can provide. And so if you can't win this case for this client, they may not survive. And so when you have that thinking or that kind of pressure weighing on you, there's no night that's too long or no hours that are too many.
I would call Brendan and Brent every once in a while, just like to hear what was going on. They would always inform me about what was going on. So I was aware of a lot of the stuff that was going on in my case. The only fears that I had was going to trial, and I overcame that because I overcome everything I go through. So that was pretty much the only thing I was worried about. I wasn't worried about we weren't gonna win because I knew my attorneys, they were gonna win.
No one wanted to go to trial. Randy didn't want to go to trial. It's a very difficult experience for a personal injury plaintiff to sit through a trial and listen to doctors talk about all the things that are wrong with him. And he didn't want to sit through that. He didn't want Mrs. Ellison to have to sit through that, and I'm sure she didn't want to sit through that either. So it's an unfortunate thing that Geico put Mrs. Ellison and Randy in this position where he was left with no choice but to go to trial. Otherwise, he would never be able to bring this case to a conclusion.
Hearing a verdict is always a tense experience because you never know. I mean, even in cases like this, when you feel like you're on the right and that the jury should see it your way, the other side has a story to tell too, and you just don't know what they're going to do, and so it's always a tense moment. But I think by maybe about the 4th or 5th answer on the verdict form was read, we realized we had won the case, that the jury was going our way on all these questions.
Geico must pay a Tampa man nearly 21 times the amount the insurance company originally offered him for his medical expenses.
We were kind of like in awe. We were like, we didn't like believe what just happened. and then I realized it and I was like, whoa. I was like really surprised.
I mean, it's an interesting place we live in the world, right? Where we meet people when they're at these moments where we're meeting them for the first time, or in Randy's case, he was in a coma, or somebody else who's just had some horrible thing happen to them physically. And it's not the way, certainly before they met us, that they identified themselves as. Randy Willoughby didn't think of himself as a person with a severe traumatic brain injury, but that's what you know of them because that's how you met them. But as you come to learn about their past and talking to them and talking to their families, you start to form a bond with them where you start to appreciate your own life and your own family more as you see the struggles that your clients go through. And clients like Randy Willoughby inspire you, to be a better person.
It really is inspiring to see Randy's journey, where he was, his period of improvement, and to how far he's come to be the man he is today. He's a father, and he has another child on the way. He's a husband, and he's able to help care for his children and care for his wife in ways that no one ever thought was possible.
When Kaylee and I were teenagers, we would just do everyday stuff that everybody does when they're teenagers. And then I was saying it's crazy how fast everything can change, like right before your eyes. That part of her life was finally over with. And now we can move on, so I felt like really good.
We make a commitment to clients that we will do whatever it takes to make sure that at the end of the day, they get the justice that they deserve. And that means we work longer hours. That means we put more people and more resources to cases than most people do. I think that's probably what separates us and is the reason, because of the great team effort from everybody involved in the firm, that we're able to pull off a win for Randy.
Brandon and Brent are they're very down to earth. They treated me the same as they would treat anybody, and that was really cool. I liked it.